Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Excited today to be joined by Ro Brooks, actor, he's a manager, producer, you name it, he's done it. And you've seen him everywhere. Tyler Perry, Have and Have Nots. You've seen him on tons of movies, tons of TV shows, Meteor Man from back in the day, and then even more recent things he's done. Welcome for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, man, for coming through. We got to kind of roll the clock back and go all the way to Baltimore and stuff like that.
Yeah, hometown.
And, you know, a lot of people don't know that you had a career sort of in music. You were producing, doing a little dancing. Talk to us a little bit about, you know, kind of how you got started in that entertainment industry.
All right. Well, ooh, boy, I'm not going to date myself, but it's been a while.
A couple minutes.
Yeah, it's been a couple minutes, about an hour. I was in a rap group called Twice as Nice.
Yes.
And this happened, I was in high school. And one of my buddies, he was already with the group. And they needed another dancer. So him and we had already danced together before, so he came to me and asked me to join the group. I got to meet the other guys, joined the group. We did well, you know, did all the local venues and everything. And we did so well winning in all these competitions, we got a call to do the Apollo. So, big. Yeah, very big. So we went up New York for about a year before we were televised. And we won all the special guests Wednesday nights. So like a certain night that you would go and it'd just be televised locally.
The amateur
and after
night.
we did all that, no, it was amateur night, but it wasn't for television. It was just for the New York audience. And then after that, we would go up on a Sunday night, and that's the one that will be aired nationally. So we went up and we actually won, which we became the first rap group to ever win on Showtime at the Apollo. And that journey was awesome. Mike Tyson, I met Mike Tyson that night too. So that's when he was in his prime, killing things, you know, like, and he hugged his arms around me. I'm like, pythons all over my neck, and I'm like, man, just don't hit me, baby.
And if I understand, thanks to Master P, you also were running like a record store and things like that.
Well, no, I wouldn't say thanks to Master P. Not in that sense anyway. I opened my first music store in
It's been a minute.
early 90s. I opened my first music store. And I had a music store in the front, and then I had a record label in the back. That was the first store. That was called Rome Records. And then I opened another store in my actual neighborhood in a regular row house, converted the living room and everything, living room, dining room, into a music store, and I named that store Sounds in the Hood, So I opened that store with $35 basically, And when I was actually flipping all the money from $35 selling mixtapes. So I made enough money, and I would just go back and forth and get guys to go in and do work on the property to get it radio store open, record store open. So fast forward, once I got everything done, I had my manager actually from my rap group. She gave me $500.
Which back then was a lot of money. I have to put into context. That's a lot. That's like a business loan.
It basically really was, because I had an idea for it, because I had spent all the money that I had made selling the mixtapes, and I had got $500 from her. And I went and took that money, and Notorious Big, Life After Death was coming out. And because we had a good relationship with distribution, we would get our music a day early. And that's when I was with the first store. So I took the same idea and took it to my new store, and I said, I'm going to take this $500 and buy nothing but Life After Death. That's how I opened up my store with nothing but Biggie. And the store blew up. Now, as far as Master P's concerned, Master P used to drop a record every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Some artists, Mia X, Mystical, I don't care who it was, C Murder, every 2 weeks a new record would come out.
Right.
And that blew my store out of the water because we sold everything they had.
Right.
The neighborhood just loved that we had all the music and it came out a day early.
Right, exactly.
So we did great, and I thank Master P for that, because without him, I don't know, I mean, we still would have been successful, but I think he gave us a big push in that time, because he broke like the mold of how to do a record label and how to keep 85, 15, you know, versus giving the record labels all your money, you know.
Right.
So shout out to Master P.
Where do you feel that entrepreneurial spirit came from?
I think it's from parents, you know, from my parents, just watching them struggle to take care of us. Even though they did a great job providing for us. I'm one of four, which I'm the youngest. I have 3 older sisters. So just watching them struggle, because I was that little kid. I'm very just focused, and I'm detail oriented, and I'm just like, I lock in on whatever's going on. So I'm nosy, you know, so I see what's going on with, you know, mom working 2 jobs or whatever. So I see that. And as a boy, we always say, well, man, when I grow up, I'm gonna buy you a house.
Exactly.
Right.
A house,
So at a young age, I started washing cars and helping my neighbor do whatever he needed, painting. 10 years old, I'm out there making a couple dollars, you know, just trying to give it to mom and see if it helps, you know. So I think that's where it came from. And as I grew older, it became hard for me to even get employed. People wouldn't hire me. And when they did hire me, I had one job tell me that they were going to fire me because I thought too much.
Wow.
Right? So at that age, I was around 18, something like that. And I said, I need to just be my own boss. And I've been my own boss ever since.
Right. How did you interpret that, at least now looking back on it? You thought too much, and hearing that at the age of 18?
Yeah, I knew it, but I knew what he was saying. There only can be one boss in a business. And if I'm not your partner, and if I'm your employee, then I think they wanted me to do what they wanted me to do their way. And we always saw a way to do what they wanted me to do in a quicker time frame. Like, I don't have to take 3 hours, I can do this in an hour and a half. And they're like, no, we need you to do it like this. Because finding out, this was a clothing store I used to work at, right? So I'm really popular in Baltimore. It was downtown, and it was on like the busiest bus line, right on that corner. So before school lets out, they would have me downstairs doing all, you know, well, first they would have me upstairs fixing jeans and doing all this stuff up there. But when school let out, they would have me come down and go out front. And so that people can see me, that I know, and I make all the money. So at the end of the week, after I made them, I know I was making $3,000 to $5,000 a day off of the things they sold. They sold great clothing. But my check would only be $130 or something. It was like, back then we were making like $335 an hour.
So low.
And I know what I made them. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I need to make it way more. I know they have to, you know, pay for the product first and then put, you know, their profit on it. But I still should get more money than that. So I saw that for one thing, and then I saw what they were saying, basically, I think too much, is they couldn't handle someone giving them advice on their own business. You know, because like, who are you? You don't have your own business. You work for me. Do it my way.
Even though, you're attracting big sales. It seems like that spirit you talked about, sort of being inquisitive, nosy, paying attention, you brought right into the entertainment industry, being willing to work it as an extra and literally work your way up and fight for every role. Talk to us about sort of that transition, because we're setting up for the book here.
Okay, beautiful. Well, when I first, of course, I always wanted to act ever since I was a kid, like a young youth. But when you don't know, you know, the unknown, it's scary. So for a while, like, first of all, I said it like this. When I used to watch, say for instance, like Different Strokes or the Andy Griffin Show, anything that had a kid on it that was doing a great job at acting, I looked up to them. But I also thought they were geniuses because I felt like, because I didn't know the business, they were remembering all those lines.
How did they do
How could they do that?
Right.
So that scared me for a long time. And after, you know, once I grew up and I still didn't understand the game, I just told myself I'll never let anything stop me from stepping into an unknown area. I'm not going to be denied, period. And that's what I said. I'm gonna go in it scared, but I'm gonna go in it. So acting, there was nobody in my neighborhood or nobody I hung out with that knew anything about acting. Back then, you know, certain people were actors. You know, I'm from Baltimore. Baltimore wasn't a big city for acting, so all we knew was whatever else was available, right? So I wanted to act. I got a call. Well, actually, I'm watching television. No, it was on the radio. I apologize. I'm listening to the radio in my kitchen, and they said that it was a movie coming to town, which was the Robert Townsend's Meteor Man. And if you wanted to participate as an extra, they needed us to send a Polaroid picture, which they were back then, with our information on it, and if we fit the profile, we would get a call.
Wow.
And I got a call.
Yeah, amazing.
And that's what did everything for me. I got bit by the acting bug, and I've been doing it ever since.
Sure, and it sounds like that was a candy store. I mean, there's so many greats in that show.
Man, Luther
music
Vandross,
groups.
Bill Cosby, Naughty by Nature. Oh my goodness, it was about 20 just mega superstars in that one project. Yes, it was huge.
And you were willing, it seems, to sort of, you know, humble yourself, and like you said, being hungry to learn. It didn't matter, and it sounds like that is a setup for your book, where you talk about, you know, from being an extra to an actor, that people shouldn't be ashamed or afraid to start there, even if it necessarily means that they may not get paid.
But it's the setup. See, like you said, when I got this first job, because I didn't know anything about the business, I knew the only way for me to get it would be hands-on, right? Didn't know anything about any books, anything. Hands-on for me. I never went in saying, I'm gonna be an extra. Even though I was an extra, to me, I was a principal. And that's my goal. That was always my goal, to become a principal, not to be a background actor. I need to do this to learn the industry, to learn the ins and outs, to learn the lingo of the industry. This is why I'll do this. This is why I need to learn how to be comfortable in front of the camera. I need to know how to respond around celebrity actors. I need to know what a DP, like all this stuff, it was acting class for me. So when you go into something with that perspective, then you'll get a lot out of it. Don't go in it as just wanting to be an extra, because that's what you'll end up being.
After doing that movie, what do you feel sort of helped guide your career, whether it was an agent or manager or somebody who inspired you to sort of go to the next level? Because it can be so hard. It's a great opportunity, but then, okay, how do you get to the next?
I'm kind of self-inspiring, man. I was always, it doesn't take a lot to inspire me to do better or to do other things, because I know where I come from, and that's from poverty. So to inspire to do greater things, like I said, it was the kids on television that I wanted to imitate, you know, so I got into the business. Once I got on set, I knew I was home. If you know any actors, other actors, they'll tell you the same thing. You'll know when you're home. So as soon as I stepped on set, they didn't even treat me like background. I felt like a principal actor immediately. So as soon as I was there, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So once that happened, of course, you know, after that, then I'm setting up how I'm gonna get the next job. All those things. So now I'm starting to research. I find a company, Linda Townsend Management, and Maryland, not in Baltimore, but I forget which part of Maryland. But I went and auditioned for them, and they picked me up. So from that point, I started doing some other things, America's Most Wanted commercials and different little things like that. Just building my resume, building my confidence, and just, you know, building me as an actor. And that's, you know, I just kept moving forward from that perspective.
Right. Talking about that, you've played so many different roles, and the show has a medicine bent to it. And one of the roles that inspired you was where you were playing somebody who was handicapped. Tell us sort of how you got into character for that and why it was so inspirational for you.
You did your research too.
That's awesome, man. Hey.
That movie was called The Holloway Story.
Yes.
And the guy's name was actually Shelton Jerome, which is my first name, Holloway. It was brought to me by a director that I had met in Atlanta. And I was actually living in Atlanta at this time when I did this project. And he brought it to me and told me what it was about, which was about this mentally challenged adult. I would say at the time he might have been in the 11th or 12th grade. And he had an IQ of 30, right? So he was arrested for killing his classmate, and then like cutting out and selling or whatever her organs, right? Or whatever. So the way it unfolded was, it was a doctor, and this is a true story. This is a true story. It was a doctor in that city, Alabama, I believe it was. It was a doctor there that had a son whose wife was dying because she needed a new heart or what have you. So they looked for someone who had a heart, you know, or fit the same whatever as his daughter-in-law, and they killed that girl, right? And took her heart and her organs or whatever. And then because my family was in poverty and, you know, not really educated, they threatened the mother of the character I played because she was like getting like assistance from the government, and she was like not doing it properly. So they like threatened her. So she helped them, and she said that, you know, I did it or whatever. So this guy, Shelton Jerome Holloway, he's still in prison today. So it's been a long time, like 30, 40 years or so.
Because I watched that scene where you were trying to, you know, and I see you had the hands and everything.
Let me tell you how I got it. That was your initial question too. So they didn't allow me to visit him in the prison, right? So the director, he went to the prison and visited him, and I was able to speak to Shelton over the phone. So we talked, I got a lot of information from him, and then he gave me the okay to speak to his parents and his family members. So that's how I found out how to actually build my character. I found out his mannerisms, his quirks and things that he did with his hands, and, you know, the speed of his delivery, like everything, the way people loved him, his walk, just everything. I got all these things from different people, and once I got it, you know, enough information, then I just built on it, and I was able to create, you know, what I thought was Shelton Holloway all over again.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a very touching scene.
Thank you.
You've clearly also walked by faith, and it seems like even when things were trying to go wrong, somehow the Lord made a way. So talk to us about that Tyler Perry story of how you got from the call to Atlanta.
Did I talk to you about that before?
No, we haven't talked about it before.
What? Oh man, this is crazy because I don't even think I ever spoke about this on camera before. Wow, we're gonna talk about this. So my manager called me for for all you actors out there or aspiring actors, make sure you are always ready. Never get ready. Absolutely. Just always be ready. You never know when you're gonna get that call. All right. So I get a phone call one morning, early one morning, but I don't see that the call came in until about 12:01 that afternoon, right? It was me receiving an audition for Tyler Perry's The Haves and Have-Nots. Normally, your audition is for the following day. But it's very rare you'll get one the same day. This happened to be one of those days. It was in a couple hours.
Right, and you're in LA at the time.
I'm here, right. So this audition was for maybe 2 hours after I found out about the call. Right. I had to play a grandfather or whatever, and I was like just going crazy in the house because I had all these sides I had to learn. Right. In this little short period of time, the audition was on Wilshire Boulevard, which is far from North Hollywood. Sure. Right. Then parking's crazy. Of course, always. So I'm gonna have to figure all these things out, figure out what I'm gonna wear, how I can fall into this role of this guy, and then at the same time, figure out what kind of delivery, all these things are going through my head. So talked to my wife. I said, baby, I got an audition and we gotta be there in 30 minutes at this time. Wow. So I drove, she shotgunned, she read me my lines while I drove. So while we're driving, she's spitting me the lines and I'm giving them back and we're going through that the whole ride. When I get there, of course, thank God she went with me because there's nowhere to park. Exactly right. So I just have to get out the car, run into the building, and see, at this time, it's time for me. It's time for my audition. As soon as I get in, sign in, and I grab sides, because now I really want to hold the sides and study them. Sure. I get the sides and they say, Mr. Brooks, you can come on in. And I was like, I look at the sides like, so I would walk into the room, they auditioned me. I think they gave me like two directions. They wanted me to do it this one way and then this other way. Did that, left the room. I would say a week or so went by, at least a week went by. I forgot all about it because we audition all the time. So I forgot about that. I'm out with a partner of mine and I get the call from my manager. He obviously forgot. He said, Ro, Tyler Perry wants to see you in Atlanta. I say, for what? Exactly. He was like, that's what I was saying. Exactly. I said, for what? He said, obviously you auditioned and they liked your audition. I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah, they want to see you in Atlanta. I said, when? He said, tonight. Wow. You leave tonight on the red line, on the red eye. Wow. I said, what? Wow. I'm still thinking he's joking. Sure, he was like, no, I'm dead serious. He said, they want you to bring 3 weeks of clothing. Wow. If you book, you'll stay. If you don't, you'll be flying out on the next thing smoking. I was like, wow. Went home, got myself together. Wife and them couldn't believe it. We leave for the airport that evening. Everything that could have went wrong, went wrong, on the highway. We get a blowout. Wow. We're driving in LA. In LA, we're driving in the fast lane, furthest to the left, Wow. Pow! Yeah. Blowout, not a flat, a blowout, disintegration of the tire. When I say, if you don't know the Lord, you better know the Lord. Sure. My car, I heard it, but my car was never affected. Wow. We went it's like the sea of traffic just opened up. And there was nobody on the right of me. Wow. I was able to glide all the way over to the shoulder of the road without the car doing this with no tire. It felt like it had 4 brand new tires. Wow. I was able to get off to the shoulder of the road. Wife going crazy, my daughter's going crazy. I'm just as calm as you. I couldn't believe how calm I was. So I'm telling them, calm down, guys. It's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. I got this.
You gotta get your flight.
I gotta get my flight. So we're standing on the side. I said, look, guys, grab your phones, turn your lights on, shine them out into the traffic to let people know that we need some help, preferably a tow truck driver, whatever. So while they were doing that, on the side of the shoulder of the road, there was like this ditch that went down. And the further it went down, there were like rocks and things. So I just happened to notice that. So while I'm trying to change the tire, I go into the trunk, I grab the spare tire, and then I grab the actual jack. But the jack doesn't have the crank. No crank. So I couldn't get the tire off. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I can't get this tire off. So I go down to the bottom of the hallway. I was sitting on the side of the road, and I'm walking down there and I'm talking to myself. I'm actually talking to God, and I'm saying, I know it's gonna be fine. I'm saying, Satan, you're not gonna win. I know what's going on, you know. So I see a boulder. I'm trying to pick this boulder up because I need to pick the car up, right? So I'm trying to pick this rock up.
Like, I'm gonna jack it myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna jack it myself.
From the hood.
Exactly. Look, I know where I had to go.
Exactly. I'm
couldn't
from
pick.
Baltimore.
I couldn't.
Going down. And this car's going
I'm from B-more. I'm gonna be extra strong today.
Exactly. Right. Wow.
So I try to pick the boulder
Because I was trying
up.
to see where you were going with the boulders. Wow.
Yeah, I had to find something to hold the car while I changed the tire.
Right. Wow.
So I couldn't lift it.
Right.
So I just bust out laughing while I was down there. I said, look, I know, like I said, I know what's going on. I said, before I go back up, you know, to my family, they're gonna yell down to me and say it's a tow truck driver up here. Before I finished that thought, my wife was like, it's a tow truck up here.
Wow.
I said, I told you. I said, I told you, thanks God.
Right.
I walked back up smiling. As soon as I got up to the top of the hill, the tow truck, it was a woman. She said, I said, thank you so much. She said, no, I'm not here to take you guys. And our face went from a smile to a frown. I was like, no.
It's one of those.
She was like, no, I just happened to see your lights.
Right. Wow.
And I wanted to tell you that I'm on my way to somewhere else, but I already called somebody else to come back for you.
Right. But you're like, time. I mean, you're
we know I'm
appreciative,
definitely
but still,
doing this. Yes, I'm definitely like, are you sure you can't take me?
Right,
No, I
please.
can't. I'm sorry. I was like, okay.
Take me to the airport. I'll pay you.
Right, something, please. So my wife was like, all right, so I'm gonna call my girlfriend. I'm gonna get her to come and take you to the airport. I said, cool. She called her girlfriend. Her girlfriend came around the same time the tow truck guy got there, right?
Okay.
So I'm all like about to tear up because I gotta leave my family on the highway with
At
someone
nighttime.
I don't know.
Right. Sure.
Me and the girlfriend, we're going to the airport, but I don't know this tow truck driver.
Sure, right.
So I talked to him. He was a Mexican tow truck driver, and I said, look, sir, this is my family.
Right.
I need you to make sure they get home safely. I took him through all that. I got to get to this airport. I have a big meeting in Atlanta, you know, Please take care of my family. I'm counting on you. And he was like, I got you. Don't worry about it. They'll be home. They'll get home safe, this and that. So I give him my kid, my wife hugs, and they crying. And I'm like, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Black Panther.
But I got to go.
Exactly.
Wakanda forever.
Exactly, yeah.
So I said, I got to go. I got in the car with my wife's girlfriend, drove to the airport. And we're late at this point, right?
So
you know, I gotta hurry up and try to get on this plane.
Right.
I get to the desk, to the counter, with my suitcase. My suitcase is too heavy.
Oh man, because you're packed for 3 weeks and oh my
too
God.
Heavy. They could not
One
let
thing
me
after
through.
the other.
I'm telling you, they wouldn't let me through.
Sure.
So she said the only thing we could do is get rid of some of your things, and then you go, or we could take all your things out of your suitcase, put them in a plastic bag, and we'll let you take the plastic bag on. I said, cool. I dumped everything out my suitcase, left my suitcase at the airport,
out the window.
right, and a big, heavy-duty, clear,
see-through, see
everything, see all of my everything. And I said, you know what? I don't even care.
Exactly.
You don't even know what I've been through. I took that bag like Santa Claus, threw it on my back, and I ran to get in the line, right? I'm running through the line to get to the gate. I get to the gate, it's 1 million people in front of me.
Right. And
so I see this one couple in front of me, and they ask the person at the gate, look, I'm in a rush. Do you mind if I boom, boom, boom? I said, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Hey, I learned quick.
I'm
a quick
yes.
study.
I have to go and meet with Tyler Perry in the morning. They was like, come with me.
Sure,
Yep. They rushed me straight to the freaking airplane. I get to the airplane, there are no seats.
Oh man.
I'm not lying. I had to go all the way through the plane, and the only seat that was available was the one next to the toilet.
Right, with the dump seats, basically.
Right? And I got my bag, and everybody's watching me, looking at me like, this dude got a see-through trash bag.
Right.
Sweating
They probably gave him the ticket for free.
Oh, right.
Get him out of the city.
Real hard.
Wow.
I'm still in my head like, y'all don't know what I've been through.
Wow.
I get to Atlanta, get to my hotel, my room's not ready. So
at 3 in the morning or something, probably.
At least at 3, 4 in the morning, I'm sitting in the airport. I mean, sitting in the hotel lobby, waiting for a room, tired as all
Of course,
get out.
right. I mean, all the effort you put through to get to the airport, get to the plane, get to the wow.
Finally, get my room. Couldn't go to sleep. Too amped up. So I studied my lines. The next morning, I'm meeting with Tyler. I finally meet him in this one building. And matter of fact, before I meet him, he sends us a whole nother set of lines to remember.
It's always, like you said, always be ready. Changes at the last moment.
You have to. So we had to go through all this, right? So once that happened, and I'll speed it up. So once that happened, he finally get me in the room. I auditioned for him. And there was some other guys out in the hallway or what have you. And I was trying to wonder why they were in the hall, why we all were in the hallway. So I noticed like they were leaving, or some guys weren't in the hallway that were there before me. I just saw like one other guy. After my audition, Tyler Perry came out and he shook my hand, told me and gave me a hug and told me it was a very nice audition or what have you. Then he went to the only other guy that was still around, said something to him, and he left. And then the producer, he called me and he opened the door and was like, Jerome. And he said, come on in. And I went in and he was like, we'd like to offer you the role.
Wow.
And I just was like,
right.
He said, I know we got to call your people. Like,
right.
I said,
right, we just want to let you know.
Man, look, we're going to take this.
Exactly. For
you
what
know,
we went
my
through.
people, they on board.
It's like, I'll make sure that it's cool.
No problem.
Right.
I just was so happy. He was like,
Of
yeah,
course.
man, we wanted you from the jump, So I was like, thank you. So now this is the part where I tell you guys always be ready. So I'm coming in this job. I believe I'm replacing someone.
But just a few episodes, probably.
Right, and I believe they shot like a week full of material before I arrived.
Right.
So when I'm coming in, we're going to do that whole week of work that day.
Wow, in one day.
With me having memorized all these lines.
Wow.
For all these different pieces of episodes or however it was laid out, I had to have all that stuff together.
Wow.
And we got it through. We did it. I got a standing ovation.
Right.
Tyler, I never expected that. He gave me a standing ovation clap. And everybody else, the crew and cast, they started clapping. And I just felt like this is so worth what I went through to get here.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. I mean, from starting off as an extra to literally clawing your way through to being ready to then that night and then the ultimate moment.
And that wasn't my first big job from the extras. I've done tons of things prior to Tyler Perry, Sons of Anarchy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a lot of really big network shows or what have you. But just knowing what I had to go through, none of those other shows I had to be ready on the spot. Like for this show, Tyler Perry I don't know if you know this, but he shoots like daytime talk, like a daytime soap opera.
Right. Oh,
they shoot really fast.
Right.
Exactly. So he could shoot an episode in a day.
Right.
When in Hollywood it takes us a week to a week and a half to shoot an episode. He shoots really fast. So you have to know what you're doing. And that's why you need to always be ready, regardless of, how you were taught. You have a situation and it's right before you, be ready.
Sure. What types of things do you look forward to doing in terms of the future roles that you haven't played or just even moving forward in the business?
I still want to play a superhero, man. I still want to play a superhero. I was a part of a company back in the day. In 2010, I did Black Panther, my own version. Right. And it was shot really well. We had a really good team. The director was really good. And I played Black Panther, and it was a really great piece. I sent it to Marvel or what have you, and they wound up putting it on like their website, some kind of Marvel website. I saw it on there. But I didn't get an audition for, the role. And this was, matter of fact, this was 2008, because it was 10 years later. And then 2018, the first Black Panther from Marvel came out. So I had shot mine 10 years prior. And I just really, really wanted that role. But I was really happy to see who got it. You know, Chadwick, rest in soul, rest in peace. Chadwick, great actor. He did a great performance. And that role was made for him. So I still need one. I still need one, Marvel. Yeah, I still need one. But I've been in for other things from Marvel since. I've auditioned for several different roles on different projects for them. But I definitely still need that spot.
Sure. Tell us about how you maintain your positivity and take care of yourself.
Well, it's not easy, man. You have to have tough leather skin. Crocodile skin as an actor. It's true when they say you get way more no's than you get yeses. So those no's pile up, and a lot of, if you're not sure in who you are and your abilities, it could really shake you because you'll start thinking, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm not who I thought I was. Maybe this thing is not for me. You have to dodge that. You have to keep positive people around you that reinforce your confidence in yourself. You have to have that good, strong foundation. And that's what I have. My family, my wife, my children, my friends. You have to have people that are around you to let you know this is where you need to be. And then you talk to God. And I used to always tell God, like, God, if this is for me, give me a sign. And I'll get that sign. And I'm like, thank you. Because I wanted it, because it's still in here. I still feel that passion, So those things only make me go harder and just continue to create. And that's why I play outside the box a lot of times, creating things like the Black Panther on my own and shooting my own independent things, because I like to be in control of my own destiny. I don't like to always be on that one side where I have to wait to see if they like me, if they want me. So I'll take that, but I also do this, because when they're not hiring, I'm over here shooting my own stuff.
Absolutely. Tell me where we can find you and what you're up to these days.
Okay, well, you can find me on Instagram at Ro Brooks _. I'm also on Facebook at Ro Brooks and Twitter at Ro Brooks. And I'm just grinding, man. I just finished a new film. I can't really talk about it right now, but it's a thriller, my very first thriller. I'm really excited about. That should be out, I would say, between first and second quarter of 2023. Really great cast, star-studded cast. Great storyline. You guys are gonna love that one. Like I said, it's a thriller. I've never done one. Finally got a chance. And we did a great job collectively, man. So look forward to seeing me again with Moshi.
Because we're
gonna be talking about this movie. I'll give you the name then. But so that for one. And on the flip side of me being an actor, and like you said, an author with the book. Oh, and you can get my book, How to Go From Extra to Actor, on my website at robrooks.com. So I started a management company, talent management. And it's called Brooks Talent Management. This we started it in 2019. So 3.5 years now, and it's going well. It's going great, actually. We have some really good clients, and we're making some waves, man. We're making some waves, booking some jobs, and getting them tied into some really great agencies. And it's been a very successful thing, and I'm glad I did it, because we look for diversity, so we have a lot of everybody, not just blacks. We have whites, Mexicans, Korean, Chinese, you name it. We have all different ethnicities signed to us, and we're all around the world, not just LA. We're across the, overseas. We have clients everywhere. Because
like you said, you never know exactly who they may need or what the profile may be, and you gotta be ready. So as a company, clearly.
India, Africa, Europe, we have clients in all those different places, man. So, as well as the 50 states here. So, not all 50 states, but all throughout these 50 states of America, man, we have clients everywhere. So I just want to give different people from different walks of life the opportunity, and I don't make it as hard as, because it's very hard to get an agent, manager, any kind of representation.
Right.
So we're here to help make that process a little easier, and then give our clients the things that actors really, really yearn for, that we don't normally get from our representatives. So the things that I may have not gotten from my management or agency at one point, I took those things and said, I'm going to give those to my clients. And that's what we do at BTM.
Sure. And I want to highlight that as I thank you for always giving back. You're always going back home. You're always doing things back in the community. You're always representing and not sort of forgetting where you came from and keeping that humility.
Have to. I have to keep that hunger spot in my stomach, man. You always know where you come from. I always make sure I visit the senior citizen buildings, you know, just to go show them some love. Because I know most times they can't get out and about. They might, you know, may have different illnesses where they can't leave, or missing limbs or whatever. So I go and just show love. I'll go to them. And that's just what it takes, man. We got to give back in all kinds of fashion.
I love it. You heard it here from Ro Brooks. Have the skin of an alligator, tough, be willing to accept no, realize that a no is just a delay to a yes.
That's right.
Have confidence in who you are and what you want to be if you're going into this business, because it is filled with more rejections than acceptances at the time, but it shouldn't define who you are or define your character. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, pleasure. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.